this one. Let's boogie.
Question number 5. This comes from Kate.
Yes.
Kate says, I'll be starting vet school this August.
Yes.
Oh, Kate, that's awesome.
You, Kate.
As a trainer, what can you suggest to keep my colleagues and I safe when dealing with fear-aggressive, nervous, insecure, or human-aggressive dogs? Any tips to keep everyone safe and make vet visits less stressful for dogs like this?
What was it? Fluoxetine?
Fluoxetine, yes.
Yes, for you and the dog.
Give a bunch to the house.
Yeah, just hand it out like candy. Like, just put it in pill pockets for everybody. Okay, so Kate, I wrote out a couple things for you just so I can make sure I hit them. And this is a really good question. We were just talking about this the other day because I think it was Shelby that went to Petco and was having some shots done.
Yeah, she was worried about taking Samson in for shots because
Samson's sensitive around people, and girl got right in his face and did a lot of like literally like baby face talk, like
right to his muzzle.
He's boreable. He's a boreable with a muzzle on, and
she went to take off the muzzle or something. They were going to take it off. She went to take it off and got in his face to take it off.
Yeah, because that's the best thing to do with a boreable.
With a muzzle on.
If you kiss him just right, he might forgive you. Anyways, so we were talking about that, and of course we've seen a million different situations with our own dogs going into vets and having our own dogs being like, whether it's vet techs or the vets themselves, treating our dogs in ways that actually move them in a direction we don't want. So let me jump into this, right? So first of all, great question. I wish every vet tech and every vet actually cared about this because you could keep them so much more safe. A lot of it's counterintuitive. I also think there's a certain component of behavior that transpires because vets and vet techs want to make sure that owners feel like you love their dog. So there's a bit of like sales, there's a bit of marketing, there's a bit of like, trying to make sure that we create this kind of like, we all love your dog, right? So here's the thing. Dangerous interactions for me include fast movement, baby talk, touching a nervous dog, being nervous or fearful yourself, high anxious energy coming from you, which like high anxious energy, like anything moving, like we talk about like this, just fast movement towards like I'll go back to the top. Fast movement with a dog like say Samson, who's a sweet, great guy, but he's a little nervous. You move too quick, he doesn't have enough time to assess your intent, and he gets nervous about it. You create stress levels, you create the possibility of a bite. Think about it like that. Think about it like a math equation, right? Okay, then baby talk. Baby talk usually gets you kind of like in their face. Most people are like, oh, it's okay, Pookie. It creates higher energy, creates a nervous dog because why are you talking to me like this? It doesn't create any kind of leadership context of like, I'm going to run the show, I'm going to help you move through this. It creates a dog that's like, now I'm worried about this human. Why? Because we all worry about when people try too hard.
Right.
Because you've got ulterior motives when you're trying that hard,
something
right?
Weird going on.
Right? Something weird. So, touching a nervous dog, don't touch a nervous dog. If you need the owner to handle the dog, or you need to get vet techs in and you guys got to muzzle the dog up and do it, be careful. But don't just touch a nervous dog and be a hero. If you are working with a nervous dog or an insecure dog or a tense dog, trust your intuition. If the dog sends signals from like this, I'll give you a quick little demo. Don't touch, right? Don't touch. That's a dog who just went from I'm comfortable and relaxed to I'm anything but. Touch right then, good chance of getting bitten. So be really cautious about like trusting your intuition. I know you guys are on a timeline. I know you guys kind of have to move fast, but like there's nothing worse than getting bitten. There's nothing worse about, somebody on your staff getting hurt. So you got to be super cautious about that.
Don't make them your friends.
Like honestly, the best thing to do with like a dog like Samson is like Laura said, ignore him, be calm, be chilled, be matter of fact, be like, cool, so we're going to work on this. He's got a muzzle on. Okay, cool. Obviously, he's a dog that's not super comfortable. Let's talk to the owner because the owner is going to know even more than you do. And the owner is going to be like, here's what he's comfortable with, here's what he's not. Work through the program in a calm, matter-of-fact demeanor, and you'll watch a dog be way more stable, way more relaxed.
Like, I've never seen this at a vet, but how asking with a like on a sheet before they go in, like, does your dog have issues with people? Or like, Maybe they do that at the very beginning, but I know they don't do that like checking in afterward.
No, they're pretty loose about it.
Yeah, just kind of like, I'm always like,
I'm surprised
okay?
more vets don't get bitten.
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm blown away by. I wonder if it's just because they're so freaked out in the new place, and maybe they just don't
shut down a little bit.
Like, I'm blown
but
away.
remember, like Dr. Caldwell, who was like a really smart, good, savvy, and didn't like engage in a lot of stuff, actually got himself bitten pretty bad on the head, just by being a little careless with the dog and not.
They told him he was like, is she cool? And they were like, yeah, she's totally fine, and she was not. So.
Yeah, but I once again think he didn't read his intuition.
No,
yeah. He bought into what the owner said.
Yeah.
So that's another. I think that's something I didn't even write down. But like, so for one, listening to what the owner says to get information, and then two, disregarding what the owner says, dependent upon what you see from the dog yourself, and honoring your own your intuition on that, right? Your own read. Okay. Let's see, placing your face anywhere near the business end of the dog, always dumb, always dumb. It's something, the first thing that I train, with Laura or with anybody that worked here, anytime you're working with a dog, there's a lot of ways you can interact with them with a slip lead or any kind of leash that gives you control of their head. And anytime you've got to move around, you keep your face at a certain distance.
If the leash drops, don't bend down right there and grab the leash right by their head. Move it out with your foot and grab the very end of it.
Take your time.
Take your time. Don't move fast. Yeah, all this stuff.
Always, like, there's nothing worse than a face bite. So, we were just talking about Henri. She was doing food work with one of the dogs, and she's smaller, so it's harder for her because she has to get in closer. But I told her, like, don't come down like this. I want you to come down, and I want you to feed like this and keep your face up. Right? So face away from the business end of the dog. I know a lot of this stuff is rudimentary, simple stuff, but I watch vets screw it up all the time and put themselves in super danger. Okay.
15 seconds.
Yep. Always have a leash on to secure the dog, right? Always, always, always. Yeah. Don't let a roaming dog, it's like whenever we take a dog out that's like in any kind of a weird state, having a leash on gives us always a certain amount of control. Here's a little added tip. If you've got a really serious dog, I'll be quick. If you've got a really serious dog, have 2 vet techs or whoever's going to be working with the dog, 2 leashes on the dog, and you can secure the dog really well with 2 leashes, and that will allow you a ton of control while the vet works with the dog, and it's less stress than like tackling the dog or something like that. Let me just move through the last few. Have the client, this one I think is so cool, and I don't think hardly any vets do it, but have your clients muzzle condition your dog before your dog comes in. Like any dog, like if you mimicked what we do, any dog that comes in here with any issue, whether it's dog or human, has to be muzzle conditioned, pre-muzzle conditioned, and comfortable with it before they come in the door, which means that no one has to wrestle with the dog. The dog comes in on muzzle. The dog might be nervous, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. The main priority is that everybody's safe and the staff doesn't have to muzzle a dog they're not familiar with. Have the owner muzzle the dog, have the dog already be conditioned and accommodated or accustomed to it, and that's how you can really get a dog into a good space to where you guys can all be safe, and he's going to be much less stressed than if you stuff a muzzle on him for his first initial maiden voyage. And then the last stuff, use quiet, calm energy to create comfort and trust. And I can't stress that enough, right? This whole list is like all the stuff that we do when we interact. Like today, I did every one of these things because we're working with like dogs that are dodgy. So calm, relaxed, chilled out energy. How does it feel? Like if I'm talking to Laura and I'm like this and like, come on, oh good, good, good. She's gonna be like edgy, right? It's like that, right? Finger correction, right? So she's gonna be like that. But if I'm like, hey, nice and easy, let me put your leash on, da 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 da. But I mean, like that whole kind of, you change the energy in the room when you like the way you're going to deal and approach with an animal like that. So I would go through that checklist and I would try and bang it out and share with your client or share with your crew and staff. Like you just do this and you guys will incur a hell of a lot less trouble, bites, injuries, trauma, and especially especially if you guys do pre-muzzle conditioning,
Yeah,
because then everybody's safe before. It doesn't matter. If you muzzle condition, even if you blow a lot of the other things, you're
fine.
still safe, right? Cool. So that's good for Kate. And now it's time for some giveaways.